Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So, rumors of war, the feeling that something's coming, that something is afoot, something is about to happen. So, I've had these feelings before in the past in combat zones, and I've told my teams and the people around me that I was feeling certain things coming. There was one time I was in the city in Pakistan called Lahore, very beautiful city. Has like some at one time I think it was the capital of India. Has an old fort there, lots of beautiful ruins, beautiful canal that runs through it. Very pristine, beautiful city. So there was one time where this one woman was running to be prime minister of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto. So I think this. Let me pull it up real quick so I can look at it. Assassination of Benazir Bhutto, and I read her book afterwards. So I remember they were talking about maybe because I know she wanted some Blackwater security detail. This happened in 27 December 2007 when she was assassinated. So I remember before that she was requesting Blackwater security detail, and I'd been working for Blackwater for quite some time. Around this time, so I think it started 2003, December 2003. So when I started there, I was working for the CIA, but it was contractual work. But I was thinking, I think this woman needs protection. If they put it out there to protect her, I think I would probably do that because I'd kind of heard some of her speeches and stuff, and I thought that she was a really good person that could make a difference in society. But never came out that they didn't request anybody to be her detail. I thought that probably I would head that detail up. So sure enough, because I felt she's under threat, and sure enough, in 27 December, just after obviously Christmas, she was assassinated. So there was a guy that had climbed up the back of her security car, and she was in a kind of like almost like a Humvee type vehicle, and maybe it was a Humvee, and so this guy climbs up, there was 2 shots that went out. They're saying that she was shot in the back of the head, and then she fell down, and then there was a guy that was climbing up in the back and blew himself up. So shrapnel, went everywhere. Lots of people killed. So I was like, wow, I could have been prevented. So before that happened, and I don't know how these things come to me, but they come to me, and I would warn everybody. And at the time, at the consulate that we were at, they wanted us to have the armored vehicles, because we had armored cars, to be kept at the consulate unless we were doing movements with dignitaries and so forth. So I can't go into details, obviously, but so we drove around in what we called soft skins, and the soft skins, obviously no armor, just sedans, and that's how we did most of our movement around the city, unless we were doing some kind of operation, all right, or movement of people. So you can imagine what that maybe was CIA and a security detail. But anyway, it ended up that I felt this thing coming, and I was like, it's really dumb to have both of our armored vehicles there. One would, if some of the people that are there are our people, CIA people, they could get in that vehicle and there'd be enough room for the people that are normally there. So it's like, we need that other vehicle out in town. So I felt it really strong. One of those times where something's coming, I feel something coming. I don't know why we need a vehicle out there, but we need one out there. So at the time they started replacing guys like me, because I used to be the guy in charge. So they started replacing guys like me with a direct CIA guy, security guy, and they always hit me up to go do that, but I was like, no, I don't want to have the lobotomy, so because a lot of those guys are like changed. You might have heard me talk about it in the past, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I'll just go, these guys are in charge. That's fine. Take responsibility. I'll help them, because of my extensive background and stuff like that. So there was this one guy, we called him Hush, and Hush, the first time he came, he was real humble. He listened to me. He's like, I'm so glad you're here, with your background, help me out and help me learn the ropes. And so I was like, cool, we got a guy that's open-minded. So I work with him. He came back to that site again, and I happened to be there again, and he worked with me. And then he started getting a little strange. He must have gotten a lobotomy. So he started dictating stuff. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So he dictated that we had to have the armored vehicles there. He said, if you go out on a mission during the night and, it's late, you can park it back at your house that, walled and has security, kind of like a safe house. And, but you had to bring it back the next morning and then change it out for a soft skin. It's like, I know this. So there was going to be a change. So I know that the guy that was coming in was a good guy. He always listened to me. And he had a little bit of background in the military. Hush didn't have any background in the military, former Secret Service guy, and not a presidential detail guy. He was a guy that worked in basically there's when they do money laundering, not money laundering, but what's the word of it? Where they make money and they make the wrong kind of money. I can't even think of the name. So anyway, he worked in that realm where he worked with money that was printed, that was not the real money. So I don't know why I can't think of that, but anyway, their Secret Service works in that area too. So somebody probably throw that in the chat and I'll catch that and clean that up. So anyway, counterfeit. So counterfeit money. So we work with counterfeit money. So, he made a transition over to the CIA to be a detail leader, a security detail leader. And like I said in the beginning, he was real humble, really, and the reason why we call him Hush is because when he talked on the radio, it was like, and move. And so we called him Hush. So everybody gets there, because I was Kojak, and you don't get to choose your handle. You get it chosen for you. So mine was Kojak and his was Hush. So everyone has some funny ones. Sometimes maybe a little dig, but they're what they are. And so anyway, Hush decided that he was going to enforce the armored vehicles, always parked in the consulate, because it was walled. It's like, it had better security or whatever. So I was like, how am I going to work around this? And I was like, I did a movement, and I kept it. I kept the vehicle, and because we only had one vehicle at our house, and there was like 3 of us in the house, so it was kind of a pain in the ass. If one guy went out and did something, then everybody else had to like hang out and wait, or coordinate. And so anyway, it ended up that I had the vehicle there. So, and I was keeping it kind of secretively. And so he's showing the new guy around, and they show up at our house, and I'm like, and he's like, why is the armored vehicle here? I was like, well, we moved it the other day. I was kind of like, bullshit. And I was like, but you know why, really? I just finally decided I was going to tell him. I really feel that if there is a threat at the consulate and we need to go rescue everybody out of the consulate, because I felt this coming. It never happened before. And I was like, but if we have to go rescue people at the consulate, we're not going to get in there unless we have an armored vehicle. It's going to be too much of a threat. We're not going to be able to make it, blah, blah, blah. So he was still pissed. I could tell he wanted to reprimand me or something. And, but the other guy was like, yeah, that makes sense. So then Hush chilled because he was leaving the next day. So he's like, oh, if you think it's okay, then you got it, So 3 days later, Benazir Bhutto was assassinated, and all of Pakistan went into complete and total chaos and rioting. So we got together once we saw it, because we knew, hey, this is getting out of hand. And so we told everybody at the consulate, you guys need to leave. You need to get in your vehicles, get in an armored vehicle, and leave. You want us to come get you? We'll come get you. And they're like, no, you guys stay where you are, and we're going to be okay. We're like, okay. One of those, and sure enough, later in the night, with the rioting went insane all over Pakistan. It was all over the news, and it was really getting out of hand. Muslims attacking Christians, and burnings everywhere, buildings burning. It was just really chaotic. So they called us up. It was like, you guys need to come get us. And we're like, oh. Like, we're gonna have to drive through a riot to come get you. Okay, that's fine. You could have listened to us when we gave you like the warning, So fortunately, we get in the armored vehicles. Who's driving? Moi. So we're driving in. Everybody's like all excited. I can tell everybody's like amped up, and I'm cool. I'm cool. I got this. We're gonna make it. I can see it in my mind. And so we're driving up this one road, and all like the whole road is filled with cars coming our way. And that's not unusual in Pakistan if you have ever been to a crazy third world country. So we're like, why is everybody coming this way down our side of the road? Because normally it's not this bad. But everybody's like, no, waving at us, go back. And we're like, yeah, too bad. Wish we could, but we're on a mission. And so we're coming up close to the consulate, and we see burning buses and all kind of crazy stuff. And everybody's getting a little bit more excited. And then somebody says, there's an RPG up ahead. A guy's got an RPG. So RPGs will penetrate an armored vehicle, right? And so I just did the remote view thing. Is like, it's good. And then we got closer. It was a guy with a camera, and he turned the camera and he went and walked to where another burning vehicle was. And when he did that, the crowd went with him. It was almost like they were performing for the cameraman. How about that? So we just hightailed it through there, rounded a corner, went through this one area where, and this is where I was like, this is a good sign, because the Pakistani Marines were there. So the Pakistani Marines are like badass, right? They're like our Marines, USA Marines. You don't mess with the Pakistani Marines. And they were there, and they had that look, that look, we're not messing around. And I was like, damn, that's a good sign. So they let us in the gate. We go inside, and the person that's in charge of the station, the chief of the station, or the chief of the, it's basically it's a consulate, asked me, do you think we're okay? And because we came there to go get everybody, load up in the vehicle, get the hell out of there. And why we got a chance. And so we're all like worked up, we just drove through a riot, and we're like, okay, here we are, get in the vehicle, let's get out of here. Like we told you, should have gotten out of here a long time ago. So everybody's ramped up. And then the chief of station goes, all right, Mike, is it safe to stay? So I had to like do my thing. I'm like, damn it. We should be loading up in the vehicle. That side of all of us were like, the protective detail guys were like, let's go, let's get out of here. And then I had to go, and I was like, we're going to be okay. So I didn't know how we're going to be okay. I thought they were going to be coming off the walls, but anyway, we went on the roof. We made sure that no one came out of the walls. We're there for a long time, and things started to die down, 2:00 in the morning, whatever it was. And so then we loaded up both of the armored vehicles with everybody, and we just drove out, and there was no problem. So Mike knows how to feel things, and Mike feels things coming. All right. So anyway, you guys take that for what you will. As we move forward, just be aware that things are going to get hot. All right. Whether it happens sooner or later, it's going to get super hot. All right. So there we go. So Mike, the psychic side of me, the intuitive side of me is like, it's on right now. I'm ready to, like, kid up and go. All right, Cuomo. And this is some of the reasons why when I see stuff like this, because the press, like the finger is coming down on the deep state now. Cuomo faces growing calls to resign after New York Attorney General report finds him guilty of sexually harassing 11 women. Now, why isn't he in chains being drug around right now in front of the cameras? Because that's the way these guys are. They get away with friggin' murder sometimes, Is that about to change? I think it is. I think it's about to change. And that's a total landscape change. Total landscape. Everything changes going forward, guys. All right. So you guys know that we talked about the reveal and how that's coming, and how, although there's a reveal, although there is light, there is going to be difficulty going ahead. All right. So that's what we're seeing right now. So New York Attorney General Letitia James released her report on Tuesday. Today, while I was working out, I was watching it. It was like, ooh. But I watched James Comey talk about Hillary Clinton, and I was working at the gym too there, and then too, how about that? And I was like, oh my God, they're gonna like put her in prison. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then he goes, but we don't see how we could get away with prosecuting her. And I was like, like, oh my God, corruption is all the way to the FBI. How about that? So it finds Cuomo did sexually harass multiple women who worked for him. It also claims that he sexually harassed a state trooper and other state troopers or workers. So and that was a female, although some of these guys, don't distinguish between male and female. They just go for anything that moves. I think Cuomo, who knows, maybe we'll find out he goes for everything that moves. But at this point, it seems like he's really being a bad boy with the women. Cuomo has and I say a bad boy, I mean like he needs to be thrown away into prison. All right. Cuomo has always denied the allegations, always, and still does. It's unclear if he now faces charges. So these women, now that the Attorney General has said, yep, you did it, if these women are going to come through with a civil case, all right, or a criminal case. So, these guys, anybody else, like I said, would be for one or two of these would be thrown in prison right now. But he's been, beating this. He's got 11 women. Who knows how many others are out there that would come forward if they thought they would make a difference, but are scared to come forward because they fear for their life, or fear for their careers, or fear that the horrible leftists will come after them. So the Attorney General said 11 women's claims were substantiated and corroborated. So that means it's a done deal. He did it. One of the women is a doctor who gave him a televised COVID test. She says he was sexual towards her. Other claims are more serious, like those of an executive assistant who says he groped her breast in November 2020. So that's not long ago. Cuomo will address the report, and he did. He said, these women, they're all lying. They're all lying. So that's the way a criminal usually is, until you come and put them in prison. And then they come before the judge, and the judge says, yep, you're guilty. You're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. And then they go, I'm so sorry. Then they finally admit it. Right. So he's a criminal. These criminals get away with this all the time. So he's figuring, Bill Clinton got away with this. I'm going to get away with this. But those days are changing. So let's listen to this.
11 women and retaliated against a former employee.
Back in March, you said that if the investigation confirmed the allegations against Governor Cuomo, then he should resign. So will you now call on him to resign, given the investigators said the 11 women were credible?
I stand by that statement.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes.
And if he doesn't resign, do you believe he should be impeached and removed from office?
Let's take one thing at a time. I think he should resign.
Cuomo, defiant as ever, claiming the investigation is political and says he did nothing wrong.
I want you to know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And I'll play that clip in a minute, but it sounds similar.
made inappropriate sexual advances. They ascribe motives I never had. And simply put, they heard things that I just didn't say.
And Cuomo trying to defend himself. by
Shifty
saying-
eyes there, Cuomo. Shifty eyes. Shifty, shifty, shifty. So liar, liar, liar. See right through that. But, leftists, they believe in their guy all the way till the bitter end. And then they're like, oh, he was attacked by a Republican. This is all set up.
One and showing this very bizarre and horrible picture montage.
Me too.
All right, it's coming.
There we are.
The montage was horrible. But a couple of people, we have it now. We got to play it for you. Let's watch.
Indeed, there are hundreds, if not thousands of photos of me using the exact same gesture. I do it with everyone, black and white, young and old, straight and LGBTQ, powerful people, friends, strangers, people who I meet on the street.
The one we didn't show you was the ones where he used President Obama and President Bush hugging hurricane victims as if that was the same thing. Jesse, it looks like you brought some thoughts.
I have the report here. Needed a forklift to get into the studio. Did I read the whole thing? I read the executive summary. It's pretty damning. I thought we had the worst mayor. Now we have the worst governor. So these are the allegations. Kissing on the lips, grabbing butts and breasts. Asked a state trooper if she could help him find a girlfriend who could, quote, handle pain. Love it. Groping waists, legs, and back, sliding hands pretty much everywhere, and just relentlessly hitting on every aide that was alone with him in an elevator or his office.
Man.
Now, this report was written by an AG who has aspirations politically, and it said all these women were uncomfortable, scared, humiliated, and offended, and the AG found his responses contrived and lacking credibility. And then he
Contrived and lacking credibility. So, it looks like Cuomo's days are numbered. I've been saying that for a while. So they're going to get him. They're going to get him. He's going down. So it's just a matter of time. He killed thousands. That wasn't good enough. Now they're going to bring out the women. And if that's not good enough, they'll probably bring out the kids. I don't know. I don't know if he's with the kids, but I'm not making throwing any aspiration or, I don't have any aspirations to political office. So I don't care, whatever he did wrong, which seems to be very a lot, then we're going to see some of that in the future reveal itself as we're seeing right now. So I think that, the fact that, he threw seniors into homes that were, had COVID, and he made sure that a lot of people died so they could have the death numbers that they wanted. That should be enough. But of course, the Department of Justice is corrupt. They came in and said, no, we don't see anything here. It's kind of like James Comey, right? So we know that the judicial system is pretty much corrupted. So we do have aspects of it that seem to be moving in the right direction, little pieces, little slivers that are helping, this break this iceberg. It's kind of like the iceberg crushing ships, coming in and crushing through. So are they going to be successful? It remains to be seen. So let's look at, the day in history. Bill Clinton says, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Was the day President Bill Clinton said words that would follow him and his wife for years to come. Scott Pelley reports.
Tonight, Monica Lewinsky's attorneys tell us that she has told prosecutors all she knows. They describe what they call a complete account of her relationship with President Clinton. But that account was given over the telephone today and was not written down. Prosecutors are still trying to decide whether they will offer immunity. This new threat came on the same day that the president finally rallied to his own defense. The president had been silent 3 days. His lawyers wanted it that way. But the political damage was rising much too fast. Today, drawn and bleary-eyed, Mr. Clinton joined the battle to save his presidency.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
He turned his back on questions as the First Lady followed, applauding. The woman who could bring down the president.
Oh my. So we did find out that he did have sexual relations with her. And they actually had the DNA proof because there was, that thing that comes out of a man's private part was actually on Monica Lewinsky's dress. So that's very interesting, to see these guys, they keep pushing the lie all the way to the bitter end until they're completely caught and there's no wiggle out of it anymore. So not only did, he have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, he also raped Juanita Broderick, right? And has never stood trial for that, has never been prosecuted for that. No, not at all. So did Cuomo ever actually, rape a woman? No allegations yet, but he's definitely inappropriately touching, grabbing, speaking, and all this kind of stuff. So is that enough to take him out of office? So he's probably like, Bill Clinton raped a woman. He got away with it. So all I did was touch people, touch women. What the heck's wrong with that? So, well, I don't know. It seems to be okay because, the people around him are doing even more horrific things, as we know. So maybe, he's just the poster boy at the very top and he gets away with what he gets away with because he'll talk until what everybody else around him is doing. So they want to keep him, where he's at. So he doesn't spill the beans, as some people have been, I believe. Let's listen to a little bit of Juanita.
Who are not behaving. Of course, it came to mind Hillary Clinton, the ultimate enabler of a man's abusive behavior. Remember the bimbo eruptions, what you allege she said to you all those years after your allegations that Bill Clinton sexually assaulted you back in 1978. And yet Michelle Obama is talking about how bad it is to protect abusive men.
Oh, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. And all I can say is if Michelle Obama truly thinks and believes in the statements that she made, thank goodness she didn't raise boys. And I have no idea what part maybe Bill Clinton's mother played in his influencing his life. But I do know that he hid behind the skirt tail of Hillary Clinton. She went after us with a vengeance. And declared us the bimbo eruption. This woman has no conscience whatsoever.
And Juanita.
So yeah, he was, aided and abetted by a very evil and corrupt witch. Hillary Clinton. So whether the two of these people are still alive remains to be seen, or whether they're, incarcerated somewhere talking, like I think a lot of people are right now. So, it remains to be seen. We'll see in the future. Now, what do we do about this? What do we do? So we know that these guys are going to resist because they resisted like this for a long time. See Hillary laughing right there. It's like, like almost like a witch, yeah, we get away with whatever we want. And that's pretty much been the case for quite some time. Now, will Cuomo be that one person that finally is a domino? I've said he's going to be. I didn't think he would last this long, but timelines just keep getting pushed. I don't know why. So it does remain to be seen if he is taken down. If he is taken down, that's going to be a major, major thing That's going to be a massive reveal. So instead of taking these guys down behind the scenes, like some of these people are being taken down, they're going to start to take them down in front of us. All right. So that's what we want. That's what we all want, that, right? Yeah, that's what everybody's craving. Will this be the one? Will this be the final one, or the first one rather, of one of many that will, if this happens, create a domino effect? All right. So what else about Juanita Broderick? So let me pull up her information. So this was all the way back in. So she's American. She was American, former nursing home administrator in 1999. She alleges that President Clinton raped her in April 1978. And so when he was Attorney General of Arkansas. So that was always denied, of course, just like Cuomo's denying everything. What was really cool is when they accused President Trump of making comments about women. And like that was a massive, horrific thing. The press was blowing it up. This was like just weeks before the election. So what did he do when he and Hillary had a debate? He brought Juanita Broderick and he sat her in the front row. You want to see something evil, something bad? Right here. So, and he had a line of women that had been molested or, targeted by Bill and Hillary, right? So that kind of put the kibosh for a lot of people on some of the stuff that she was trying to do, like win the election. And so she's been very outspoken and vocal. I have her as a friend on Facebook, so I see some of her posts sometimes. She's really good. So she's like we just talked about, she's involved in the 2016 campaign, and she's been involved in other stuff. She came out with in 2017 in the wake of Harvey Weinstein sexual abuse allegations. And then eventually, of course, they incarcerated him too. And she criticized Clinton's and a lot of other people, said, they say, because they came out and said, we didn't know that he was doing anything bad. Yeah, right. So she basically said, yeah, right. And kind of dimed him out. She's also said, let's see, there's some other really good stuff in here. The allegations against Kavanaugh, she having been sexually assaulted at a very horrific rate. And she even described the genitalia of the president accurately. So how could she know that? That was looked into and was like, yeah, she's exactly right. It does do that. So, and it is that size and all the different things that she said. So, how could somebody just know that maybe there's, girl talk in the background? That's what they were saying. Who knows? But I think we know that he raped her, right? So, and got away with it. So she's outspoken. She sees people that have made allegations and she's like, doesn't ring true to me. She's not like me. I just come right out and say, I'm psychic. She says, I don't have sixth sense or anything, but I just have a feel, have a woman's feel. Yeah, you're intuitive. Come on, say it. We need more people saying that, guys. We need more people. If you have an accurate intuition and you speak it, then when that actually comes to pass, people like to go, whoa, so there's something there, right? So I've been doing that for a while now, as you guys know, and a lot of my stuff, not everything, maybe 1 or 2%. No, it's a little bit more than that. But there's things that, have come to pass that I've talked about. They might not come to pass as I relate with, I think them, because when they come through, you put your analytical mind to it and you try to, decipher what that is. And sometimes you don't get it because you're limited in this 3D realm of consciousness. So you have to learn how to think way outside the box, and you have to look at bigger pictures. So when this information comes through, you just start to trust it, stop doubting so much. And then when it comes through, you're like, you start to play this game with yourself. It's like, I think it's like this. And then it comes like that. And you're like, well, how strongly did I feel that? And it's like, if you felt really strongly about something and then it transpired like that way, then when you start to feel something strongly about something else, you're like, it's probably going to end up. And then when it does, you're like, I got it. I got the gift. And then you start to, every time you get that real strong, I think like this is going to happen, and it's not your ego involved. So you got to learn how to differentiate between the two, because your ego wants to be in charge, right? So it has to be a very humble, thing where it's not going to directly give you credit, or so I don't care about credit, just like when I pulled out the armored vehicle out of the consulate, I could have gotten in big trouble. So I was like, felt very strongly about it. And then I was like narrowly escaped, getting in trouble. And then when the big, riot happened, then everybody on that team from that day forward is like, whatever Mike says, we don't understand, we don't believe what he's doing. But if he says something's coming, we're going to listen, so I can work with that. So it's the same thing with Juanita. She looks at people and goes, nah, kind of like I talk about that one Kentucky lieutenant commander I used to work with. It's like, that dog don't bark. I was like, damn, that's some powerful shit. So, he's got that intuition going on that, the dog won't even bark at that, so it's bad. It's bad then. So, Juanita's like that. She looks at stuff and she's not saying that dog don't bark, but she's saying, I don't, yeah. Those women that are accusing President Trump, I don't get that. And, or Brett Kavanaugh. I have a feel for that because I've been, sexually, molested at a horrific level. And I don't get that feel from these women. So, and I'm the same way with a lot of stuff too, guys, you know that. So I look at a lot of stuff, as you guys know. And one of those things, let me see if I can pull it up. I think it's a little bit further out. So I think it's actually better to pull this up now. All right, you guys might, if you've been listening to you might have recalled that, I was looking at the Capitol Police testimonies about the January 6th Capitol breach. And I was like, now I didn't use that dog don't bark, but I said, these guys are lying. I'm a professional, and I know when a professional is telling me the truth, and if he's upstanding, these guys are all shit. They're all lying, right? And it looks like it might be a reason why they're lying, because they would die if they didn't. Police officer who responded to January 6th Capitol breach dies by suicide. Suicided, guys. So that's what's happening to guys that resist right now. So you see, Clinton, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Andrew Cuomo, these A clowns, ass clowns. I just might as well say it. So these clowns basically are stealing the consciousness right now, stealing it. They're keeping people dumbed down. They're keeping people in this false reality, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. When do we have enough people wake up to like push back on this hard enough that it never happens again? That system completely collapses, right? When are we going to reach that point? I think it's soon. But it remains to be seen. So by me saying it, I feel that it's soon, then everybody relaxes and doesn't do what they're supposed to. So you see how this can work? This can work to all of our benefit, where everybody gets fired up and is like, okay, what's coming? Let's do it. Let's support this thing. Whatever's coming, we're going to be there. And then we get involved. Or, you got a lot of people who are like, oh, I gave up a long time ago. Well, that's real good. That helps out. And that really pulls everything down, doesn't it? And then you get the people that are, self-appointed Nazis. We saw that during the mask mandates. We saw that during the lockdowns and so forth. So they feel that they have to push those agendas, that by pushing those agendas, somehow they create some kind of goodness on their side, some kind of good karma on their side. It's not so much. and that's going to come back to boomerang on their ass. So that's what I feel. So there's gonna be a lot of boomerangs flying out there pretty soon. And I don't think it's gonna be pretty. I don't think it's gonna be pretty for a lot of people. And so anyway, a Washington police officer who responded to the January 6th breach of the U.S. Capitol was found dead inside his home last week. Gunther Hashida, 43, killed himself and was found on July 29th. A spokeswoman for the Metropolitan Police Department told the Epoch Times. We are grieving as a department as our thoughts and prayers are with Officer Hashida's family and friends. So they're going to blow this up. Like, see what the stress from the January 6th events is having to people. Probably. He'll probably work it that way. Although he was probably going to say, that dog don't bark. I ain't saying that bullshit. Right. Leaves behind, he was a devoted and loving husband and father. So what really happened to make him suicide himself? It didn't elaborate on what drove him to end his own life. But they're going to raise a lot of money for him. More than 535 people have been charged with crimes related to the January 6th Capitol breach, which left more than 150 officers injured. Bullshit. Total bullshit. Call the bullshit. Throw in the bullshit flag on that one. That dog don't bark. So 4 officers who took part in the response testified in a separate hearing, crying while they were doing that. Real men, right? They're crying because they're like, "I don't testify. They're going to kill me." Yeah, okay. Maybe cry over that. Law enforcement officers showed bravery in the face of this unprovoked and vicious attack. As we know, that's complete BS. So they recounted harrowing scenes and so forth. So he had a wife and 3 children. All right. Sad times. It's going to be more casualties going forward. And so that's a start page for something. Probably my website that I should be promoting right now. And I'll get to that. Andrew Napolitano fired from Fox News following lawsuit trend of sexual misconduct with men. Yes, boy, they really want to destroy him, right? Is with men, not with women, with men. All right. So I haven't liked the guy for a long time. He's really attacked Trump. So anyone that attacks Trump, because I know Trump is of the light. I know that Trump is angelic and is working for God and our country. And the people that attack him, it's like, okay, I see who the enemy is. So Andrew, Napolitano, you made a deal with the devil, and you thought he was going to take care of you, but he doesn't care. He sacrifices anyone and everyone. So all the other little minions that have jumped on board to be like you, they should be taking note right now and maybe start to do the right thing. So an associate producer has filed a lawsuit against Fox News Network saying he was discriminated against because of his gender and subject to unwelcome attention from on-air personality Andrew Napolitano, who was dramatically fired from the network on Monday evening. Dramatically. I haven't seen that, but I guess, whatever you say. So there's and these guys, the way they put their commentary, he said executives will bend over backwards. Yeah. So you have homosexual advances, and so you're going to put that into the commentary? Really? He said executives will bend over backwards to protect such behavior so long as it is perpetrated by senior management or prominent on-air personalities. So long as it is perpetrated by senior management. So if it's someone further down the line, they don't support that. It won't help that person. So in a statement, Fox News Media said it investigated and addressed Fawcett's claim against the personality and that his additional claims were baseless. So he was making other claims. They found them baseless, but that this one, he's good. So, and how long has this been going on? How long? How long has Andrew Napolitano been doing this? So, wow, it's just all this stuff is coming out right now. Isn't that interesting? So I'm going to rape you like I raped my daughter. George Soros's right-hand man, Howard Rubin, accused of sexually abusing 6 women. All right. So here he is. I guess that's his daughter there. Fortunately, covered her up. And here he is. He's got that black eye thing. So I've covered the black eye thing. That's a satanic ritual type thing. Wall Street financier Howard Rubin, billionaire George Soros's, wow, George Soros, huh? Former money manager and right-hand man, sued by 6 women for beating and assaulting them during kinky bondage in his apartment, Manhattan apartment, sex dungeon. All right. So it goes on. I'm not going to go into detail about this, but a lot of these women are talking about how he lured them in, paid them money up to $5,000. Is accused of paying women up to $5,000 in order to take part in his bondage and sadism masochistic little romp. And they're all claiming that there was promise of, like, you know, if I say that's too much, that's you're going to stop, right? And he's like, yeah, well, you didn't. And I guess one woman, she had an implant, and the implant was like shifted around. So yeah, these women are basically suing him and making some serious accusations. So it's amazing, right? So all of this is really starting to come out. So what is going to trigger humanity? What really triggers them? So I had a show today where I had several women come on, and we talked about children being raped, right? And what age? And making some serious, well, they were getting raped at 1.5 years old. Right. So, wow, that looks very similar. It's interesting. So here it is. Satanic ritual abuse with children as young as 1.5, involving judges, lawyers, police, and medical personnel. All right. So we had a young lady came on that was basically targeted, like you just saw for that other group. And she talks about it and talks about how it's all being covered up by judges, by lawyers, by police, and by hospital personnel. They're all involved in what we determined is a coven. So these covens, kind of like, did you know that Hillary Clinton had an honorary admission to a coven in New York, and it was all over the news that she was in this one group. And then some of us looked a little deeper, and it's like, that's a witches coven. And they're outspoken about casting spells on Donald Trump. And they gave her honorary admittance to their little club. So, one witch to another. So it's like, hey, witch, you want to come join our witch coven? Yeah, why not? So, are they good witches? No, because they're casting spells to kill Donald Trump. So, not so much, guys. So anyway, we talk about, how this is going on and how deeply corrupt these systems are, as we're seeing with, Andrew Cuomo should be perp walked, to the dungeons and basically thrown in there and the key thrown away. So, but he's still leading New York as the governor. Unbelievable. So it's pretty tragic. I think that, as we move forward, we're going to see, more of this stuff start to present itself. We're going to see more of this stuff start to unwind and really, take down these different groups. And it's going to start to accelerate very quickly. All right, let's go to the channel so that I can pull up one of these where I can look at some of the course material. description box. Why is it not going there? All right. So if you want to find my work, you can go to michaelkjaco.com. But before we go into that, let's look at this one last thing. So I love sharing this stuff. Former Nazi guard, age 100 to stand trial in Germany. So that long arm of the law is still out there grabbing these guys. The one that didn't get away. How about that? But there were lots of them that did, you know, Operation Paperclip. A lot of them came to the US, and it just looks like the world is like being run by Nazis right now. So I don't know how they got away with it, but they did. But there's still some people, like I said, there's that sliver of a justice system that's out there that seems to be still, you know, whacking and hacking these guys down. And this one was unbelievable. Talks about where he was a guard at one of these concentration camps. So a lot of you guys think, you know, concentration camps were like, you know, 1940 to 1945 when we shut them all down. But no, they started in 1936. More than 200,000 people were in prison at Sachsenhausen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but pretty close. Tens of thousands of them died before the camp was freed by the Soviet Red Army. The exact number of victims in the camp, which was also used for SS guards, training SS guards, remains unknown. So we've seen the videos, or at least the pictures of, you know, people lined up and executions being done, and a lot of that was so that they conditioned people to do that, to be able to go out and do combat and stuff like that. So they were executing a lot of people for quite some time, all the way back in 1936. So they're calling that he's guilty of accessory to the murder of nearly 30,000 people at the Sobibor death camp. So this sets a precedent. I don't know, sets a precedent for like getting somebody in almost at the very point where they're going to die. I don't know, but you know, at least even, you know, at the very last days, he gets reminded of how horrible he was at some point. So it says at least 13,000 Soviet war prisoners were either shot, like I was talking about, or gassed in vehicles. So I guess they had trucks where they would pile them in the trucks like they're going to go somewhere, and then they would lock the doors and then, you know, pipe in the gas. And then they started the gas chambers in 1943, and that's when they really started to do the executions on a industrial level. All right. So there's some people that are talking about, you know, actually some people would be, you know, some people I've had on my shows where, you know, I'm not going to go into too much detail so we don't get this shut down. So I think this has been very good. I'll be able to leave this one up, where there's a level of, you know, I guess it's kind of execution where some people are expiring from something that goes in the arm. So that pace is not as fast as it could be, because if you go too fast, like in some of these places, the air quality goes down, right? So they're concerned about the numbers because the quality and the environment might go down. So they're going to like extend this out for a little while. So that's why they're you know, not completely pushing it as hard as they could be, I guess. I don't know. And of course, there's some people that aren't going to be affected by it at first. It's going to take longer, much longer in some cases. But when you get a booster, I think that a booster in the arm, it's gonna maybe kick some stuff off, or maybe get it to the point where the AI system that they're putting in you at some point can be activated, and you turn into basically one of their little slaves, kind of like the zombie apocalypse that we've heard about. All right, so let's go into Michael K. Jaco. So michaelkjaco.com or unleashingintuition.com is where I have all my course material. And also what I'm really loving is the Michael Jaco collection. So we're adding to it all the time. So you can see here, at some point, we're going to have 50 different products. We're gonna change some stuff out, add some stuff. Stuff that's doing well, of course, will stay there, and the stuff that's not really moving so much, not so much. So these shirts, Unleashing Intuition, secret shirts, are really moving out there. The hat, you guys like the hat, so we're gonna have some more hat stuff, and the tank tops are doing really well. The muscle shirts, like the one I have on right now, is doing really well. Other things are doing well is this shirt right here, in pink too, because girls like the pink stuff. But guys are buying this stuff too. So I know a lot of you ladies are buying stuff for your guys, which is cool. Maybe they're starting to see it, and or some other people are seeing it that are cool guys, and they're going, that's some cool stuff. I want to get that. And so it's starting to move. It's cool. It's part of a bigger package. So you do the courses, you get the books or something along those lines, or maybe you just like what I talk about, and then you get the apparel. So the video courses are definitely out there for you. Lots of different stuff. I cover the full gamut of stuff. The one that I recommend the first and the most, if you're just starting out, is the Unleashing Intuition Secrets course, Become the Master of Your Reality. So it has a lot of information in there. You guys can scroll through this stuff. There's a free meditation, as you see here, preview, of course, overview, and it kind of gives you a feel of what's there. So I lead a meditation there, as you see. That's back when I had a little mustache and beard. And then, you have the books that you get into, Navy SEAL mindset, building your physique, losing weight, one-on-one, coaching. So lots of different, Ultimate Course Bundle has been extremely popular. When I first started it, I was like, I don't know, is it gonna, because all this stuff I'm like, yeah, so build it and they will come. I was like, okay, if you say so. And then you guys have been, coming. It's like my university is always busy. I go in there. It's like, I'll get up like in the morning, maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, is there people in it now? And I go look, and it's like, must be people all over the world, or people like artists like me are doing courses. So it's always busy. There's always, people in there doing courses, and it's amazing. I'm just overwhelmed sometimes and humbled by it. So it's great. The Ultimate Course Bundle, if you're really on board, you get all of the stuff, and you get like one-on-one coaching. Now the one-on-one coaching determines on how much you want to spend. If you do the 4 bundle, you get 3 one-on-one coachings, and you get all the course materials, books, and everything. So that's over $1,000. I think it was like $1,300 savings, or maybe a little bit more. The Ultimate Course Bundle, a little cheaper version, just under $3,000. You get all the course material and one-on-one. And then the Ultimate Course Bundle payment plan, you get 7 payments where you get all the stuff right away, right when you start. And then eventually when you're ready, you get a one-on-one with me. So it doesn't matter when you want to do your one-on-one. You have to sign up. You don't have to like do it right away. A lot of people actually wait. I had one guy do the Ultimate Course Bundle. It was like, I want to do it at the end of the year. And it was like, towards the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, it's going to be there for you. I'm not going to end this, what, if you sign up for it, I'm going to, whether I raise my course prices or whatever, which I've done, you're still going to get it. It doesn't matter. So I have a really good, it's a 10 to 8 little thing. Once you sign up, you get a lot of instant email, and it has a little link where you go, it's a 10 to 8, where you go in and sign up for where you want to do your one-on-one. And if you want to do it a month out. Some people go way out and do their, set it up. And some people are like, I'm just going to wait. When I'm ready, I'll do it. And I'm like, no stress, no push. You do it when you want it. Some people do it in the beginning and in the middle and the end of when they're doing all the courses. Some people just like, you just want to get on a chat. Some people want to talk about some deep stuff. I had a guy on today. It's like, damn, you like pushed me. I was like, that's some of the best questions I've had. And, we did a one-on-one, and then he waited a couple of months. I wanted to make sure I get some good questions for you. I was like, I appreciate that. That was really good. So that's what it is. It's available for you. There's lots of stuff out there. I'm doing a Mount Shasta event. I did a Las Vegas event earlier this year. I've done a couple, events here where I got up and spoke a couple times here in Florida. And then, I believe that I'm going to do more of those in the near future. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with people that are a little sickly right now. Hopefully they'll overcome that, and then we'll get together and do some more touring. But it's fun. I love it. It's definitely changed my life. When I was in the SEAL teams and the CIA, they basically was a vision that I had as a little boy of doing those things. And another vision I had was like, doing what I'm doing right now, speaking in front of people and helping humanity, and creating this amazing, these amazing concepts that really go out there and change consciousness. And that's, as a little kid, I was thinking that. It's crazy, right? And then as a Navy SEAL and then CIA, I was like, I don't see that happening, but it's going to be, if it's going to be. And so here it is. We're here. I was like, wow, this intuition's a crazy thing, but when you get out of its way, it's a beautiful thing. All right. Lots of love out there. Oh, we were going to do, I promise you guys we're going to do a love bowl. And I also promise you guys a past life story. So let me stop to share my first past life. So I went to this woman in Virginia Beach called Mary Roach, and I was having a little one-on-one session today, and both my client and I couldn't remember her name, but if you're out there, it's Mary Roach. So Mary Roach was the first person that I went to. I was working at still in the Navy SEAL, and I was doing part-time work. I was getting ready to get out of the Navy, and do some work with Tom Brown up in the Pine Barrens, teaching courses and stuff like that on American, Native American spiritual skills and survival and tracking and all this kind of stuff. It was like going to be cool. And it was cool. I did it for a little bit and started my own program, and I still teach some of that stuff occasionally. So it's really good. So that was kind of my thing. I was getting out. So that was in Virginia Beach. And I went to the Edgar Cayce Institute, and I was doing past life research because that was kind of like my passion. So some of the people there was like, a lot of us that are here have seen Mary Roach, and a lot of us that are here are Essenes. We're Essenes during that time frame. I bet you're an Essene. Well, by God, Mary Roach did say that I was an Essene, or at least that I worked with the Essenes. And I would eventually, it would take me a couple decades to find that particular lifetime in history where I was a Roman tribune. And so that's what I saw. I'd always seen that even as a little boy. And then this Mary Roach started blah, 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 blah. You were like, with Jesus. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, whoa, me? Who am I? So, but eventually it got to the point where, she was relaying a lot of information. I was like, it resonated with me. It resonated with me. I remember actually leaving there. I had like tears in my eyes. I was like, wow, that was intense. I mean, I still feel it. I mean, I could do tears right now. It was so intense, and I feel that intensity still. So time goes on, and I kind of like, I got to go see another one. And the time that went on was like maybe a couple of weeks. And I was like, I got to see if this is real. So I went to another psychic, not as good as Mary Roach, but she was pretty well qualified. And she said the same thing. Yeah, you were Jesus. But I didn't like front load any of that with any of these women. I just come in as like, well, tell me what you got. So, and they're like, yes, I see you with Jesus. And I'm like, whoa. And a lot of other stuff that Mary Roach told me. And I was like, all right, one more time. Doubting Thomas or doubting Mike. I was like, one more psychic and I believe it. Just one more. That's all I need. Give me a sign. So I went to another psychic, same thing. Yeah, you were with Jesus. And I don't know, maybe all psychics say that. So, but you know, I had some experiences start to happen, where connections started happening. And then I went with Kevin Ryerson, who's worked with Shirley MacLaine and some other, you know, high level people. I read Shirley MacLaine's. I saw her out on a limb little mini series, and then, you know, started reading all of her books. And then I saw that the Return of the Revolutionaries, this one doctor, Simku, that had found that a lot of people from the revolution, Nathaniel Green, are back again, you know, during this time frame. And I was like, whoa, I wonder if I was. So eventually I would find out. I would contact Kevin Ryerson, because I looked him up. I'm like, does he work with anybody? And sure enough, he does if you got the money. And so I contacted him and, you know, started doing, I did my first reading with him, and he's like, yes, you was Jesus. And I was like, it's like, it's, and then he told me a bunch of stuff, and like it resonated, same stuff. And he told me a bunch of other lifetimes. And so then I started working with him for a while. And I did The Waking of a Warrior. Now the Waking of the Warrior, Past Life of the Navy SEAL Remembered, was supposed to be that past lifetime with Jesus. That was like my first discovered life, or at least that I was told. So I'm like, okay, that's the one that I'm going to focus on. So I wrote this. I even had a blog, had a website, and I post some of the stuff on the website, and people were like, whoa, that's amazing. It was great. So it was my very early days. And I was like, this is going to be like the first chapter of my book. And I was like, I need to discover more lifetimes. So it can't be just one chapter. So then I started going in deeper and deeper, and I've discovered, you know, over 100 lifetimes now. So a lot in historical lifetimes. So I can, you know, triangulate them and go into them. And now I'm to the point where not only am I finding that lifetime, but I'm finding other people all around me that were in some of those lifetimes as well. So the discovery is like, you know, reaching other levels. And I'm also finding that not only am I having these lifetimes that I'm discovering, but I'm having parallel lifetimes simultaneously. So when I started to see, well, that other person fits me, but he was born around the same time, you know, or are they, usually what happens is like one life will come in, it'll progress, and then another one will come in. And then those progress, and then another one will come in. And as one falls away, one of them rises. And then as that one falls away, the next one rises. So it's like nonstop. And I was like, so when I first started seeing these other lifetimes that connected, I was like, well, I was kind of torn. Which one was I? Which one was I? And then I looked at the work of Michael Newton, and he's like, well, there's anywhere from 4 to 7% of the population that is actually having multiple lifetimes. And I was like, whoa. So, and he gives all these examples, and I'm like, it's real. So I am. So I talked to Kevin Ryerson. He's like, oh yeah, I always knew this. I was just waiting for you to find it out. All right, so here's your lifetime. And I was like, it's like, oh my God. So it can be a little overwhelming. Of course, I even have a simultaneous lifetime in the Secret Space program. All right. But that's a clone of me. So a little piece of my soul went with that one, just like a little piece of my soul is with the other lifetimes that I'm having right now. So I know it's big. It's big one. To some of you guys are I don't know about even having past lifetimes. I mean, we just show up and we're gone. And so there's been a lot of people throughout time that have talked about that. It's like, how can you think that way? That, you know, all the stuff that you know and all the stuff that you do and all the people that you are with, this mortal coil or clothing, we toss it off and we pick up another one. A lot of people talk about it over time, right? A lot of big names. All right. Plato, Socrates, you name them, philosophers throughout time, philosophers in current times. Of course, the information that's been revealed where, a lot of children in their early days have memories of past former lifetimes, where they were, had just died, or they were in an accident, or they were killed or whatever. And they had like a mark on them. Like I remember one of them, a boy in India, where he had a mark on his back, and they discovered that's where he was shot in his former lifetime. And he knew everything about that lifetime. He even visited that family, and he's like, started naming everybody's name. Oh, your Uncle Joe, and you're like, I'm kind of making names up, of course, but and Pat, and you were my mother. It's like, if I was your mother, what did you have in your pockets? He says, I had a leather jacket, and in the left pocket I had $15, and in the right pocket I had a pair of I had my smokes. And so they went and got that jacket, and sure enough, that's what was in them. She knew that, of course. So and she left it just like it was, because she's only been gone for like 7 or 8 years. So this was a 7 or 8 year old boy. So there's amazing stuff that's out there, guys. You guys probably heard a lot of these stories. You can believe them when you don't. It doesn't matter. It really does, actually, because when you make these connections, it invigorates your current life to an incredible level, which it has done mine. And it gives you insights into who you are, what you're doing here, and how you're interacting with people around you, and why you're interacting with people around you, and why you're doing what you're doing, and what you've been working on with many lifetimes. And some of those things you've been working on for many, many, many lifetimes, you're like, well, that's stupid, I'm done with that. And then it's boom, it's gone. It's that easy. I remember one guy that's written a lot of stuff on past life books. He's like, I didn't even believe in past lifetimes. I was just a regressionist. I was a doctor. I was helping people overcome, mental challenges, blah, blah, blah. And so I regressed this one person that came to me, and they were going to die because they had throat problems, and all the doctors couldn't heal them. And so last ditch effort to come to the guy that does, regression work. And so I thought I was going to regress them into something that happened in this lifetime, and they go into another lifetime, and they found that they were hung in a past lifetime. And once they realized that, they never had throat issues again, even though we're going to die from these problems. It was like really impacting their life. So they discovered they were a horse thief, and they were hung for it. And they're like, oh, that's what that was. Okay. That's no big deal. I'm done with that. That's good. I don't do that now. So, it was that easy, so it's kind of that way. I was like, a guy that had a lot of anger in past lifetimes. You see some of my past lifetimes, like, ooh, boy, you were bad. It's like, yeah, I was, and I had some in this lifetime too. So as you guys can see, I'm much cooler, right? So I can promise you. So it's it was overcoming that, and part of the way that I overcame that, I was like, dang, that's just been destroying my life. Having a happy life for a long time. I'm done with that shit. And that's how easy it was. So that's what you get out of the past life connections. Of course, I'm like some kind of crazy warrior in this lifetime. When I look back on a lot of my lifetimes, not all of them, some lives I've been priest, some life I haven't found a female life. Not that I care. At one time I was like, of course I've had female lives, but I have not found them. And I've been told by psychics that you're very balanced as a man, and you don't need to be a woman because you got it down. That's true. I connect with women really well. Always have, as a little kid, up until today. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect with women. Yeah, I have difficulty with women just like everyone else. But I think we pretty much get along pretty good together. So, and women understand me sometimes better than I understand myself, because they're intuitive. So once I learned intuition, I was like, dang, that's pretty valuable. I'm glad I was like, I get rid of all the anger issues, because now I can like be intuitive. Because if you're in anger, if you're in levels of consciousness where you have fear, which are trying to really impose on us right now, you don't go into it if you don't have access to intuition, because you have to be in a certain level of consciousness, which is love vibrational, is the most effective or above. You can be in joy and peace and connection, ultimate connection with source, which would be the highest, which like Buddha and Jesus and reach those realms of consciousness. Can we? Yes, everyone can reach those. And sometimes, there's been occasions where I felt I've been at that point, but it wasn't because I was angry. No, I did away with that. I learned how to like just let that stuff go and start to really focus on bigger picture stuff. And life is much easier. All right. So that's your bedtime past life story. And now I'm going to get the love bowl, and we'll do love bowl meditation. So I'm gonna pull out this speaker, push it away, because the love bowl does better, or both bowls do better on the speaker that's in the computer. So if I sound different, it's because it's on the computer speaker, right? All right, the Sedona Love Bowl is at the frequency of love vibration. So when you hear this vibration and you feel it, sometimes you can actually feel it in your heart chakra. So that's not only hear it, but feel it. So that's ideally where you want to go, and you want to like make that connection and just feel that energy and that love energy, that nice and relaxed feeling that you get. And what that does is basically connects you with that love. So you want to get there instantaneously. All right. Even if I've done this in combat zones because I know that if I'm in that vibrational frequency, I'm extremely effective in a life-threatening situation. Because if you're angry, if you're in fear, and I've seen this in a lot of people, you're probably going to die, right? I've seen that, and I was like, I don't want to die, and I want the people that I'm supposed to be protecting, or if I'm going after the bad guys, I want to be thinking, in a way that's definitely going to take these guys out of action, so they don't, take me or my people out of action. So that's the extreme of it. Most of you will never ever be in combat, although things are getting kind of hectic. So who knows? The world might see some of it. So we're going to get you to the point where whatever your difficulty is in life, and they've actually done tests on people that have been in combat, and they did like the EEG, the other and stuff, not just the heart, but also the brain patterns and all that kind of stuff. And they saw that people in combat it didn't matter. Everything was elevated. They're a little bit out of control, that kind of stuff. Even people that, are having maybe a domestic dispute, same thing. All right. Same type of environment. So if anytime you want to be in a low vibration is during one of those times, right? So same thing when you're at work and your boss says, I'm going to have to fire you. And then whoop, combat zone. But you can just go into that state of consciousness. Like, well, what about blah, 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 blah. And what about blah, 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 blah. Who knows whatever that is? You would know what it is. And they're like, oh, I never knew about that. Or, yes, I did do that. And so, yeah, I can't fire you for that because I've done it too. Yeah, who knows, whatever it is, but maybe it's better that you go away from that anyway. So you just maintain your calm, and then you're able to get out of those situations in a beatific way. All right, so imagine a golden ball of light surrounding you. This light is healing and protective. So connect with that sound. Hopefully that sound's coming through. So as that vibrational frequency connects with you, you're feeling it. You're imagining golden light around you. Imagine that golden light penetrating to the very core of you. Any discomfort or aches or pains that you have right now, imagine that golden light coming in and healing and correcting that situation. Now taking a deep breath, and as you take in that breath, any tension that you have in your body, build it up with that breath. And then the exhale, let all that tension go. Let all that negativity and all that tension go. From here on out, just focus on the breath. Listen to my voice, focus on the breath. If any thought comes into your mind, just let it go. Just let it go. Just focus on the breath. Focus on your breath right now. You can't focus on two things at the same time. So if you get thoughts going in there, it's like you're not focusing on your breath. Well, yes, I am. I'm a multitasker. Okay. It might be a little harder for you to get in that love vibration. All right. So just go into that state of consciousness where everything's really empty. Taking another deep breath. Any tension that you have in your body, build it up. Build it up. And now with the exhale, let it all go. Just focus on the breath. Now, in your mind, say these words. I choose love over hate and fear. Whenever you feel any of that hate or fear coming in your life, it says, I choose love over hate and fear. A little mantra for you. Now, some of you guys already have great mantras, but if you're like new to mantras, that's a good one to start with. Or I am always in the love vibration. I am always in the love vibration. And you can put your hand on your heart and think of your heart. If you're doing this with your significant other, you can put your hand on their heart and they can put a hand on your heart, and then you can hold their hand over your heart and then say, I love you. And look into their eyes when you do this. So if you're with a partner right now, go ahead and get in that position, facing each other. You can do it standing, you can do it sitting. So go ahead and put your right hand, let's say your right hand on their heart, or let's go with the left hand because it's left heart. So left hand on the heart, and then take your right hand, put it over the top of their hand, and then look into their eyes. And if you don't have a friend or a lover or whatever, just imagine you're looking through Jesus's eyes or Buddha's eyes or whatever, God's eyes, your pet's eyes, and say that little mantra. I love you. I love you. All right. Bring your conscious back to your body, back to your heart. Remember, stay in the love vibration. And if you ever get into a difficult situation, think of the love vibration. Imagine yourself being surrounded by loving light. Do the mantra, I am love. I am always in love. I'm in the love vibration. I'm in the love bubble, right? So keep those mantras going, whatever works for you. Build that right now and keep that with you at all times. And now it's been very beautiful and lovely being with all you guys. And I look forward to being with you again because I feel your great energy. It feels really good right now. And